Blech.
Top of the morning to you. I decided to impromptu make this video after still reeling from our Rocky Horror Show episode we did last night. Go check that out on the channel. Our deep dive turned into a table reading of the original Rocky Horror script and concept for the play, which was really fun, and my throat is still a little thrashed from trying to sing numbers that are way out of my range. When I was getting into bed, I decided to put the soundtrack on, and as I was listening to Hot Patootie, the song sung by Eddie, played by Meatloaf, in the film, when it suddenly occurred to me, after nearly 30 years of listening to this song, I really, truly started to understand what it was about, which is probably very blatantly obvious to every diehard Rocky Horror fan who's been following Rocky Horror. But it just kind of blew me away, and I wanted to talk about it for a second. The idea of Hot Patootie, bless my soul. First of all, what is a patootie? A patootie is slang, nomenclature, ace, for the buttocks, the bottom. So it's, a hot ass. That's what it is. So I love hot ass and rock and roll. And basically, Eddie, ex-delivery boy, he makes a delivery. He either makes a delivery at the house or whatever. He falls in with N Furter and at some point becomes his lover or attempted lover, and then gets put on ice where half of his brain is taken out and given to Rocky, N Furter's Adonis creation. And then, of course, after Rocky is born, Eddie comes out of deep freeze to sing his one number. He steals the stage from Frank, which makes Frank furious, and along with a few other motivations, Frank either takes a microphone stand or a pickaxe, depending on what you are watching, and murders Eddie for a second time. But was he really dead to begin with? I think so, and I think the problem is the makeup that we always see in the movie. We're so used to the movie as the official canon of everything, and when you look at the makeup, essentially Rocky Horror is like the Hammer films that came about in the decade prior. And yes, they could be bloody and gory, but for the most part, Rocky Horror, everything's kind of light. Yes, we see a half-eaten Meatloaf, but Meatloaf himself, he's really just got a busted up scar on his head, and depending on what medium you are viewing Rocky on, you can't even really tell what's going on. It's just all red up here. But when you look at YouTube video of the stage productions and you see all the different various Eddie makeups, when you look at the original costume designs from Sue Blaine, you can see that Eddie is not really intact. He's really fucked up. I mean, he really is almost sort of like, he's a little bit Frankensteinish himself. And the movie doesn't really do a very good job of explaining that or hyping that up. But the song, why is Eddie singing this song and what is he singing about? It's a requiem from his life. That's what it is. It's him snapping back to a semblance of consciousness after having half of his brain removed and singing about what his life used to be like. Whatever happened to Saturday night when you dressed up sharp and you felt all right. And then he says, it don't seem the same since cosmic light came into my life and I thought I was divine. So the cosmic light is, Frank and the rest of the alien crew landing on Earth, came into his life and made him feel like he was above it all, right? And then something happens. Either Eddie is too hard to control, or maybe he's not really into Frank's advances, or maybe it's because he started messing around with Columbia, most likely, that Frank straps him to a table and cuts his head open and takes out half of his brain. So what you're really seeing from Eddie here is almost like a death rattle, a last push. It's a last push of rebellion against authority. Hot Patootie, bless my soul. I really love that rock and roll. Go for a ride with a chick who'd go and listen to the music on the radio. A saxophone was blowing on a rock and roll show. You climbed in the backseat and you really had a good time. My head used to swim from the perfume I smelled. My hands kind of fumbled with her white plastic belt. I'd taste her baby pink lipstick and that's when I'd melt. Whisper in my ear, that night she was really mine. So it's like, yes, it's a song about nostalgia. Yes, it's a song about like, being a teenager, but it's also somebody who has clearly been unconscious for a long time, snapping back to life, stealing the show. When you look at him in the stage productions, you really see how messed up he is. And I think probably one of the biggest blemishes on the Rocky Horror Picture Show is not making him look more grisly. Get back in front, put some hair oil on. Buddy Holly was singing his very last song. With your arms around your girl, you try to sing along. It felt pretty good, and you really had a good time. On one hand, remembering what life used to be like, but on the other hand, a snap back from a deep freeze. Ultimately, his grisly end is my favorite in the movie, but I think the way that he sort of comes back in the stage productions, and the fact that some stage productions really make him look like really nasty, I think it really adds to what is happening in the story. And the idea that this is this guy's last stand as he's singing about the life that he loved that is slipping away before he got involved with aliens. Hot Patootie, bless my soul, I really, really love that rock and roll.